Good morning. So, welcome to day 2 of my beekeeping challenge. So, very excited to see how many of you joined yesterday. I hope that you're all excited and ready to go, and thank you for sharing your actions. So, if you're going to win a prize, you've got to post your actions. I shall just check that everybody is okay with getting into the group. So I'm just waiting for a few of you to join me. So, all about keeping bees. This is the time of year to prepare for bees. And although it doesn't feel like it, having another lockdown gives us the opportunity to do more preparation and do what we can do from indoors. And preparing for your year ahead for the bees is what we need to do. It's what beekeepers do at this time of year. So the bees at the moment are all in torpor. They're all in the hives, too cold to fly. So that's good. It's good, but it means we have to be patient, because even on a sunny day, it's quite sunny today, it's too cold for them to fly, so they're not going to be flying. So day 2 of the challenge, and this is all about feeding the bees. Now, you may be aware that bees need a certain amount of food. You may have heard of people feeding bees with sugar. Well, if you're going to follow naturopathic beekeeping, then it's all about making sure the bees have enough food and nutritious food. And sugar, not for anybody or anything, is nutritious. It's not nutritious. It doesn't do any good. If we were to eat sugar all winter long or feed our kids sugar, it would be no surprise if we got sick, would it? And it's no different for bees. So it's really important that we ensure that if we're going to have healthy bees, we've got to have a healthy environment for them to feed on. So did you know that it takes 1 acre of flowering wildflowers, hedgerows, and trees to feed 1 colony of bees? 1 acre. Now, most of us don't even live on an acre of land. So even if your garden was completely full of flowers, it would not be enough to feed that 1 colony of bees. The other thing people seem to think about is, oh yeah, I've got some nice flowers in my garden, and you know, I've got some bees, or there's lots of bees in my garden. But if you then add 50,000, which is how many bees you'll get in a colony at the height of summer, 50,000 more hungry mouths to feed, what kind of impact is that going to have on your native bees? So this is another reason why I do not advocate buying in or shipping in colonies of bees, because you're adding hungry mouths. You know, we all know how worrying it is when more houses are built in our towns, and we're not even, you know, shipping people from all around the world to live in them. So, you know, it is a worry. So if you're going to keep adding more hungry mouths, you've got to add more food. And if each colony, you need to have 1 acre of flowering plants, then that's a lot of food. Now, it's no good saying, oh, well, I've got a big field outside and that has rapeseed. And so there's 3 or 4 weeks of 11 acres of rapeseed. That is only 3 weeks of food, and we have 52 weeks in the year. So the bees need to have food available all year round. Now, as I said at the beginning, right now, today in the UK, it's too cold for the bees to be flying. So they're not looking for food. But what often happens in January is we have a day where it's mild and it's sunny, and the bees wake up and they think, oh, let's go. I mean, they won't soil inside the hive, so they need to fly out to have a cleansing flight. And if they're flying out, they're using fuel, which means they need honey. And to have the honey, they've got to have nectar. They've got to have enough supplies to actually give them that energy. So if we have mild winters, the bees need more food. So they either need the honey stores in their hive to get them through a mild winter, or they need to have access to nectar and pollen in the gardens. So there's lots and lots of things that we really need to think about just when it comes to feeding the bees. So if you're going to have bees, now is the time to start preparing that you're going to have enough food for the bees that you attract into your garden this summer. So the other thing, if you read my book, A to Bees, I talk about the Welsh Botanic Gardens and how they did a survey to find out what their bees were feeding on. Well, obviously, you've got to read the book to have more details. And those of you who are part of the challenge, I will email you a link to get a special deal on the ebook version. So you don't have to pay $12.99 to have a hardback, which is available through all good bookshops. But I'll give you a special deal so you can download the ebook version. Now, the Welsh Botanic Gardens have their hives of bees. The bees were making honey, and they wanted to know what the bees were feeding on. Now, the Welsh Botanic Gardens has 8,000 species of plants. So they were thinking, wow, wouldn't it be exciting to see? We must have really exotic honey because we've got these plants from all around the world. But what they found, to their astonishment, was that the bees favoured 11 plants. Just 11 plants out of 8,000. And do you know what those plants were? Brambles, lime tree, clover, dandelion. It was all the native plants. So it wasn't even the plants that were in the Botanic Gardens. The bees were leaving the Botanic Gardens with this feast of 8,000 plants, and they were flying off to the nearby woods and to the hedgerows and to the wild fields. So what does that tell us? Now, I will talk a lot more about this if you do my naturopathic beekeeping course, because there's lots more research about why bees are choosing particular foods. But this is what you need to think about. So your challenge activity, your little task for today is, I want you to think. You don't have to go out if it's too cold, but just think about your area. So either your garden or the area around your garden, and what 3 plants do you have that can feed your bees, and which months will those plants feed your bees? So you may be in a town and you've got an avenue along your road, and it could have lime trees. Now, lime trees are fantastic food for bees, but they just flower at the end of June, beginning of July. And the thing with lime trees is the nectar is only released for honeybees if we have the right temperature. So it's got to be humid, it's sort of Glastonbury weather, so warm but stormy, and that's what the bees like. So it's just thinking, so yes, you've got lime trees, and that might give 2-3 weeks worth of food for your bees, but what are they going to eat before, and what are they going to eat after? So if you're starting with a clean slate and you haven't got any plants at the moment, then just write down in your task 3 plants that you're going to either allow to grow or bring in and plant to feed your bees. So it's not just what's in your garden. You have to think the bees will fly 3 to 5 miles to get food. So it's what's in your area. What do you know flowers throughout the year? And you've only got to share 3 of them. So share 3 plants that you know will feed your bees from your garden this year, and which months they will feed. And if you add that either in the comments below or put it in the group as a separate post, that would be fabulous. If you want to be really jolly, you can put pictures of your flowers that you know will feed the bees. And remember, if you share these challenges, you need to do all 3 challenges and share them with me, either in the comments or as a separate post in the Facebook group. Then you get a chance to win a place on my course. So the course starts a week on Thursday, January the 14th. It's 4 weeks, and lots of intensive workshops. So we have live interactive sessions where you can ask questions, and you'll have lots of downloadable stuff that you can learn from. And I'm very excited because today, the students who completed the last run of this course in November, they will be receiving a nice little surprise package from me. So I won't tell you what it is, but hopefully well, they should all get it in the post today. And that's what you could also be getting when you complete the course. So comment below, let me know what your 3 plants are. And if you haven't done yesterday's task, then please do that. And if you've got any questions, then just type them here. I'll be here for a few more minutes. So if you've got a question, type it in the comment box. If you're on Facebook, please put your name, because StreamYard doesn't always tell me who it is who's writing. So yeah, I was really pleased to see why people want bees. So yesterday there were some great responses, and what I really love is more and more people are seeing and waiting for the bees to choose them. So bees moving straight into your garden. How wonderful is that? So you have been chosen by the bees. And I have bee hives dotted around the place, which I invite bees to move into. And it's always so exciting when you feel that you've been chosen to look after, to be the guardian, or to learn from a particular family of bees. So yeah, so that's really exciting. And the whole point of my naturopathic beekeeping is that it's not just about what we take from the hive, be it in honey or wax. It's about what we can learn from the bees, and it's about providing a safe environment, a healthy environment for the bees to thrive in. And so then we can have a resilient strain of bees wherever we live. So bees that can resist any kind of pathogens or disease that could be affecting them. So it's making sure that we are doing the best thing we can for the bees. And the feeding the bees is so important, because I believe in the big connection of all things. Bees are the connectors, and they do provide us with medicine. But for us to take that medicine, we do need to give something in return. And I feel it's our duty to provide healthy, nutritious food for our bees. And if we do that, if we stick to our side of the bargain, if we spread the news that the bees can't eat chemical food, they can't eat poisoned food, then the bees will reward us for our work. They will say thank you in the way of being happy to share the gifts from the hive. So, and I'm going to share, I put this on for a reason. I wear it most days, but just in case you didn't know, this is how much honey a single bee will produce in its whole lifetime. So that is just 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. And that's how much they produce. And just how many flowers do they need to visit to actually produce that much honey? So we have a duty of care. And even if you decide that you don't want to have your own hive, you can still support the bees in your neighborhood, your neighbors' bees, your friends' bees, the wild bees, by ensuring that you've got food in your garden to feed them. Now, there's so many great books out there about planting for bees. There's some great companies who actually sell plants that they can ensure are not treated with chemicals. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. So again, if you're on my course, you'll be sent resources. You'll get details of where you can buy your plants, where you can read more information about the best places for bees. So, and the best places to buy the food for the bees. So I hope that has given you something to do today. And I look forward to seeing and reading about what plants you have for your bees. So thank you very much. I'll let you get on, and I will see you same time, same place tomorrow for the final part of the challenge. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.